So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of freshmen who burst out, and then they outplay their ranking. Let's just say they're a 3-star. They come in, and they're the best player in camp, and they blow it up. They're going to be like, you know what, dude? I know I committed to you originally, but I want more money than you're willing to give me, so I'm going to transfer. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. Never been here before? This is Jake with Master of Football. Pro football, college football, video game football, anything related to American football we discuss in the show right now. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that stuff. I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys. So I know that the NFL league year started in March of 2022 for this new league year, and that's when free agency opened and things like that. So lots of things happening. You know, again, there was the combine a couple of weeks before that, and then they're coming up. There's a lot of pro days. There's a lot of action going on, a lot of people paying attention to things. However, we're starting to see the fact that it looks like college football has created their own free agents period, otherwise known as NIL and the transfer portal. Excuse me, that is not correct. NIL is the reason behind a lot of these transfer portal situations. So, whereas the, how do I say this? What's a good comparison here? So, the transfer portal is to free agency what contracts are to NIL. That's the situation compared to the NFL and the NCAA football. So that's where we're at right now. That's what we see. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it because I think there's more drawbacks to positives. But that being said, there are big time players transitioning teams for multiple reasons. So let's just say you are a really, really high level recruit. And let's just say you committed a couple years ago. You had a freshman year, you had a really good year, you had a sophomore year. Your sophomore year was awesome. However, at the beginning of your sophomore year in July, NIL kind of came around. And so now all of a sudden you're able to monetize your name, image, and likeness. So you're sitting there and you're like, yo, dude, I am a all-star, all-conference receiver in the ACC. And I'm coming back to my team. My quarterback's leaving, my offensive coordinator's leaving. There's a couple things that are changing there. So do I want to come back to my school, or do I want to go to a school who is desperate to win and willing to just throw money at me? Well, that's the situation that Jordan Addison is in right now. Here we are from Pete Thamel at ESPN.com, and again, this is on May 3rd. So, source, Pitt Panthers star wide receiver Jordan Addison enters football transfer portal. The most riveting drama of college football's offseason took another twist Tuesday. Pittsburgh star wide receiver Jordan Addison officially appeared in the NCAA portal or transfer portal Tuesday afternoon, a source told ESPN. He had filed his paperwork to Pitt saying that he intends to explore a transfer, which happens before the May 1st deadline, and resulted in him appearing in the portal just after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. He is one of the top returning players in college football as he earned All-America honors last season and won the Biletnikoff Award for the top receiver in the sport. 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. He did great. There likely will be a frenzy of interest for his services as there are few more established players in the country. A person close to Addison said Tuesday that the expectations remain that Addison will run a formal process after his name appears in the portal. He has yet to make up his mind on his destination as there's no expectation of an imminent decision according to the person. A return to Pittsburgh remains a very viable option, the person said Tuesday. The expectation remains that this will not be a name, image, and likeness bidding war, but rather a way to situate Addison best for the NFL. Seemingly, every powerhouse in the country will be a suitor. Yeah, no, I think this is definitely about NIL. He's honestly sitting there and he's saying, you know, where am I best going to be sent into the NFL? First of all, here's the situation. Jordan already knows he's going to the NFL. Okay, he could play in a run and shoot offense where he runs bubble screen, slants, hitches, and goes. And if that's all he did, he would still get drafted. He's that dynamic after the catch, very explosive, very good, player. I think what this is what he's trying to say is more so that not so much which team puts me in the best situation to put me into the NFL, which quarterback does. We've seen this happen a lot in football. We've seen this happen in the NFL. We've seen this happen in the NCAA many different times. There's a star receiver with a scrub at quarterback, and it definitely hurts their value. Nelson Aguilar, when he left the Eagles, he was down and out. It was horrible. It was not going very good for him. And again, he had played for the Eagles. He was kind of an outside receiver, kind of a slot, something like that. So he was all over the place. He wasn't really able to establish himself. Comes over to Derek Carr, a more established quarterback than Carson Wentz. and he puts up 900 yards and 9 touchdowns, and then he gets a big fat contract from the Patriots. A lot more than he probably deserved, but again, that's what the market dictates. I think that's what Jordan Addison is doing here. So the fact that he can knock off a couple birds with one stone, okay? He's going to be able to transfer. He's able to basically find a place that he actually wants to live. No offense to Pittsburgh. It's a little cold there. Might be able to go to a nicer place. I don't know, say maybe USC. Go to a coach who has plenty of money and backing. I don't know, maybe USC. And go to a place that's got warm weather and an offense, namely the former Oklahoma offense, that has put plenty of wide receiver talent in the NFL. I think that's what he's doing here. Addison's transfer has become a source of consternation between the programs at Pitt and USC, as a source told ESPN on Friday that Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi called USC coach Lincoln Riley multiple times over to express his displeasures over Addison's potential transfer. Pitt officials suspect that tampering might have occurred. Unfortunately, and this is a big situation right now, that if tampering had occurred, the NCAA doesn't have what's going to happen? Honestly, I think what is going to happen? They're going to slap down huge sanctions on them. USC is a blue bud, and the NCAA is kind of gutless right now. I don't think there's going to be a lot of, how do I say this, retribution for Pittsburgh. I don't think like that. The deadline to enter the NCAA transfer portal without requiring a waiver to play in 2022 was Sunday. Pitt compliance officials had 2 business days to put Addison's name in the portal, with Tuesday the last day it could have appeared. Addison's potential transfer has emerged as a divisive and important issue looming over college football. It's a fascinating scenario in theory. One of the most established players in the country could test his value on the open market. Addison caught 100 passes for 1,500 yards last season and had 17 touchdown grabs. He finished 5 in the FBS with 143 targets. Yet remember here, he's not leaving because he thinks that the team can put him in the NFL. He's leaving because he wants a quarterback and a system where he's going to get the ball, he's going to get touches, he's going to have a variation. He's basically just going to have, he's wondering if who's better, Keaton Slovis transferring to USC or to Pitt, or the field out there, potentially Caleb Williams out at USC. I had already mentioned before, Pitt will have a new receivers coach, Tequan Underwood, offensive coordinator, Frank Cignetti Jr., and quarterbacks coach in 2022. Kenny Pickett was the number 20 pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is unknown whether there has been any tampering by USC or other schools, but the specter of it and the animosity from Pitt has turned Addison's situation into a national talking point on how the rules should be structured in the new era. Now that Addison has beaten the May 1st deadline to enter the portal, there's no urgency for him to make an immediate decision. Wherever he goes, he's likely to enroll in the summer, and those dates vary around the country. This one is especially indicative of the fact that it looks like basically it's just semi-pro football now. Okay, so at the NCAA, there's so much money there. I want to make sure that we are 100% clear on one thing, that if this money doesn't go to the players, it goes to the schools. So just remember that, okay? If these $150 million that Texas college football, if it doesn't go to the players, it goes to the school. It doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just go to charity or something like that. It goes towards the schools. So I think that the players need to have an opportunity to profit off of their name, image, and likeness, because the money is just stupidly high. That being said, I am not in favor of the Wild West right now. Right now it's semi-pro football. That's what this is. The NCAA doesn't exist anymore. It's no longer amateurism. This is semi-pro football. That again, the NFL was wanting a developmental league for it to come up. They wanted some sort of league where a guy who comes from the FCS levels, a quarterback, can get some reps with some higher level talent than he had to go up against before. An NAIA quarterback could do something like that. A offensive tackle that's just not quite ready, needs to grow into his body a little bit more, he has an opportunity to do that. They wanted that. However, it looks like college football is like, dude, screw that. We're just going to be your only developmental team, because there's so much money here that we basically are right now. I do know that there's a point of contention with a lot of pro coaches, that a lot of offensive tackles that come into the league, a lot of guards, particularly the offensive line is a particular one, that what they take and what they're given is not what it works at the NFL level. And again, there's certain aspects that change how dynamic the defensive backs are in the NFL versus college, some of the rules and things like that. So it's not a one-to-one thing. But right now, it looks like there's no need for the AFL, the American Football Alliance. There's no need for the USFL, because college football is like, yo, dude, we're semi-pro anyway. I had checked this out too. So Jordan Addison, think about this. This is what's going to be crazy for the next couple of years. I actually think it might be sooner than the next couple of years. It might be just the next 2 or 3 years. We're going to see a lot of players who had committed to solid schools. Pitt's a solid school. Tennessee is a solid school. Who is another solid school? Boston College is a solid school. Oregon State is a solid school. What else is solid? Arizona State is a solid school. What I mean by that is solid is they're not a blue blood, but they're a place that you can be successful at and that can beat those blue buds. But they don't have the donor backing of USC, Alabama, Texas, Georgia. So big bank take little bank. They're going to be able to offer more money to these players. So what's going to happen when, again, Jordan Addison, again, he's only been in college for 2 years right now. He has 1 more year and then he's eligible to go pro. So he was, according to 247, the number 4 athlete in the country, but he committed to Pitt. So unfortunately, basically what's going to happen here is we're going to see a lot of players who commit to, let's just say you're a 4-star athlete, something like that, or you're a top level guy and you commit to, I don't know, TCU, and you're really, really solid. You do a good job for TCU, but you're the best freshman in the country. Every single one of those top flight schools, USC, LSU, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, they're going to come in and be like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million guaranteed to come and play for us, or you can play for TCU with whatever their NIL deal is. Boise State, I saw one guy, he got a truck. Yay, there's 40 grand. Meanwhile, these other schools are like, we're going to give you $1 million. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of freshmen who burst out, and then they outplay their ranking. Let's just say they're a 3-star. They come in, and they're the best player in camp, and they blow it up. They're going to be like, you know what, dude? I know I committed to you originally, but I want more money than you're willing to give me, so I'm going to transfer. That's where we're at right now. I don't necessarily like it, but until the NCAA or the conferences as a collective, bunch together and get some sort of rules, it is the Wild West. We're going to see a whole bunch more of that. What's your guys' opinion of NIL? Just in general, what's your opinion of NIL? What's your opinion of Jordan Addison? What would you do? That's the better question. That's the most important question. What would you do? Get in the comments and let me know right now. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. I am out.